We've had good stages. I could possibly say, yeah, the most challenging event I've done in a very, very long time.
It was a tough, to have to go flat out from the first kilometre. Makes it really exciting. I'm upset about the fact that there's a protest gone in on the last section because, first we cancel a stage for rain and now we want to cancel a stage for dust. So we might as well have a tarmac rally. But anyway, it is what it is. I might put a protest in for the river crossing because that put me back a minute and a half. But that is what rallying is about. Sometimes you have the rally gods with you, sometimes you don't. And unfortunately for Manbe, he didn't. And Baldy drove a fantastic rally. There was no way we were going to beat him.
Wow, that is Carl Flash Tundo, because he's paying tribute to the winner, that is Baldev Chaga. And remember, Carl Flash Tundo has won the Safari Rally 5 times, and he's also confident that Safari Rally will regain the WRC status come next year. Have a listen to what he said.
Fantastic. I mean, we were talking about it, to see those cars here and competing on the roads that we race. Someone asked me, so you'll be racing against the top boys? I said, no, I'm going to go and spectate, because to watch those guys is just going to be awesome for us all. It'll be awesome for the country, for the region, for the continent, tourism. And I think they will, those guys, the top guys now, they're young. I don't think they would have ever competed in the Safari. So for them, it's nostalgia coming to do an event out here. I think we've got a bit of work to do to the routes, I would say, for those cars. I think they would be shocked what we raced in today. But there's plenty of roads around, and with a little bit of effort, I think we could have a fantastic WRC here.
Well, that was Carl Flash Tundo, the 5-time Safari Rally winner. Had he won the 6th time, but then that was not to be, because he finished second behind Baldev Chaga, and I was there. It was amazing, competition, and we really believe and hope so that Kenya will regain that status. In the Standard newspaper today, at the back page there, we have that brilliant story, Chaga wins high-stakes Safari Rally. But at the bottom there, make sure you get yourself a copy of the Standard newspaper. We have an analysis, and we are saying there are 10 reasons why WRC status should be, Safari Rally should regain the WRC status. And we are putting pressure on FIA and WRC to ensure that come next year, 2020, we will have the Safari Rally back on the WRC calendar. And now in the studio, I've brought to you 2 journalists. They've got all the experience covering sports around and outside the country. I want to believe, guys, you had a very wonderful weekend following all the sports. Yeah, at my extreme right, that is Steve Ayo from 442 Media, and also we have Gregory Mulemi, also a sports journalist. Jamaa, karibuni sana to the studio.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a blast over the weekend. It was the best until I was interrupted by the news of the passing of Joe Kadenge. I was shattered. How did you receive the news, Steve?
It was, excuse me. It was devastating. When you were growing up, you used to hear of Kadenge and Mpira. And that's one thing that, as a young journalist growing up, I really wanted to get an opportunity to just be next to him, the legend. Because, hearing about somebody and getting to meet them is something totally different. And when I got the opportunity someday, it was just, I was starstruck really. I don't get starstruck so often, but just because of the memories I had when I was growing up, I just felt like I was in the presence of somebody who's big. So, his death came at a very untimely time. He's really battled. He showed us what kind of a soldier he is, because he's really been ill for quite some time.
Sure.
But his battle just shows you that he was not only a brilliant player, but a brilliant person who never really gave up. And, we can only express our deep condolences to the family, and we wish him that he may rest in...
Yeah, his death coming just almost or less than a week after Bob Colima also passed away. A man, people said, he really touched so many lives. And now Joe Kadenge, he stopped playing almost 50 years, half a century ago. But then when you talk about Kadenge and Mpira, it's as if he was playing the other day.
You see, the beautiful memories that he had in the 50s, 60s, 70s coming into his retirement. He's also helped the growth of the game in the country. I remember when he was celebrating his 70th birthday, we were at Nyayo Stadium covering the Sofapaka vs FC Leopards match, and the cake was cut in front of a capacity crowd at Nyayo Stadium. So he's a guy that was likable to everyone, and his death for sure has caught everyone napping, and that we didn't expect that, especially during the weekend that we had so many football actions, the Africa Cup, the friendly match between Everton and Kariobangi Sharks. We have the Africa Cup. Then this comes in between. It was really devastating, and it shocked the whole world.
You actually mentioned about that connection, the connection with people. I remember every time you would come to the stadium, parents come in there with their kids. They would tell him, oh, go, that is Papa, that's Grandpapa Joe Kadenge, and the kids would go there, mob him, and it's just amazing how this man could just connect with everyone.
And that just tells you what kind of a character he was. He was bigger than football, to be honest. He was somebody who he looked up to. I think even young footballers looked up to.
Exactly.
We saw even him, he has his own sons, who try to at least get something in the game, but there's only one Joe Kadenge, and that's why his memory will always live fresh with us. No matter what we do now going forward, we'll always think of Kadenge, and I think maybe it's also a challenge to the government and even the Football Kenya Federation, just to probably just erect a statue somewhere, just to to honor these lads. Sorry,
exactly.
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest honor they can give him. Let's get a statue somewhere. We have the Tom Mboya statue, we have Kimathi. For us, sports and especially football, Joe Kadenge was the face.
It's amazing how a man would really influence the Kenyan sporting terrain. Joe Kadenge is a father of many. He's a father of former footballers. The late Francis Kadenge played for FC Leopards. He's one player who was very exciting, and growing up I also thought this was it. This is Francis Kadenge, only to learn later on that the Mzee himself, Joe Kadenge, was there. His other sons, that is Rogers Kadenge, also played for, I think, Kutali.
Yeah.
There is also Oscar Kadenge, played for Tusker, played for FC Leopards, and so many. And apart from that, he just didn't give birth to footballers. He also gave birth to athletes. John Anzra, John Anzra is the brother, but of course Esther Kavaya is also the sister. She also participated in athletics representing this country. But then Joe Kadenge, I don't know, will we ever replace that man?
You can't replace a legend. You can only try match the achievements.
The achievement.
Yeah. To be honest, I think is the face of Kenyan football, because everywhere you go, you ask about Kadenge. Even a 3-year-old will tell you something about Kadenge, and we've not found any other person who feels in those shoes. It's so it's to me, I think maybe as Steve has said, we should honor Kadenge in a way that we'll remember for the next generation, for the generations to come, because his death has united the football family. We saw before the Kariobangi Sharks Everton match, we had a minute of silence. Before the Algeria match in the African Cup of Nations, there was a minute of silence. So it shows you the impact that Joe had in football, not just in Kenya, but in the entire continent.
And it was amazing yesterday, Everton versus Kariobangi Sharks. The stadium filled up, Steve. I didn't expect that, and we were never disappointed by the display from Kariobangi Sharks.